Hi! Welcome to the Board Game Archives, or welcome back if this isn't your first time. Now, two quick side notes before we begin. First of all, I don't know if you can hear it just yet. I am sick, I'm dealing with a cold, and so I'm very stuffed up right here, and it makes my voice sound a little bit off, so I'm sorry if I sound kind of weird. Also, it is election season here in America, and so I know you've heard this time and time again, but please vote if you have not. Voting lasts between today and November 5th, next Tuesday, and this is probably the tightest election that we've ever had here. So when people say your voice matters, they genuinely mean it here. We're neck and neck for the presidential election, so if you want to have your voice heard, this is the time to have it heard. So please squeeze it in, try and fit in a vote wherever you can. My partner Alicia and I, we voted last night at like 7 p.m., which isn't really like a typical voting time, but we managed to squeeze it in. And so I implore you, please vote if you have not yet. And so with that being said, I thought it might be a good idea for a second review on the channel to kind of focus around politics but still be in the board game niche. So here we have Ballot Battle. This is a card game for 2 players. It is based on Blackjack, and it has 2 players going head-to-head to try and win the presidential nomination. With that being said, I would advise that those under the age of 18 don't play. Number one, this is a game based in Blackjack, and Blackjack does have roots in gambling, so that may not be the best idea for people under 18. And the other thing is that this is about presidential elections, and again, people under 18 can't vote. And so this may not be the best game for people who are under the age of 18, but that is just my personal opinion. You are more than free to play if you are under that age. It is just up to personal discussion. And so what we do here to do our reviews, if you're not here for the first review, we look at 5 different categories. And so we give each game somewhere between 0 and 5 stars in each of those 5 categories. And so if you end the entire review with somewhere between, like, let's say 20 and 25 stars, you're doing great, fantastic, no notes. But if you're near like the 0 to 10 star range, clearly you've got a lot of ground to make up. And so we're going to look at them one at a time. We're going to explain them more in detail as we get to each of them. But in no particular order, these 5 are going to be cost, time, aesthetic, replayability, and accessibility. We're going to go through them one at a time. We're going to give you our thoughts, and then hopefully from our thoughts you decide whether or not you think this is a good game for you. So let's get started.
Let's start with a quick explanation of the gameplay. In Ballot Battle, you and your opponent will both be running for president and will have multiple opportunities to get elected. To capitalize on these opportunities, players must play blackjack against one another. To start, one player will begin laying down cards next to any of the opportunities. The first card will be face up, the rest will be face down. Then the next player will begin laying out cards in any one of the 4 opportunities. Please note, we are speeding it up a little bit because we don't want to take up too much of your time. The game usually plays a bit slower than this. Players don't have to put their cards on the same opportunity as their opponent every turn, but by the end of each round, every single opportunity should have cards right next to it. The player to get the closest to 21 at each opportunity without going over gets that opportunity. So for instance, blue over here gets 23, so red gets the card. Once each score is calculated and players get their respective opportunities, put down 4 new opportunities and get all of your cards back. You're going to play 5 more rounds. A few quick notes. Firstly, the number at the top of a card shows you how many points you'd earn. Ballot cards increase in points depending on how many of them you have. And lastly, ability cards give you special abilities. Each one is different, but they all come with 1 point. You will earn that point whether or not you use the ability by the end of the game. One more thing to look out for are controversy cards, which will be hidden behind opportunities as you play the game. Controversies are like a double-edged sword in this game, so you can actually earn extra points by getting controversy tokens, but if you have 9 controversy tokens at any given time, you lose the game automatically. The number of exclamation marks on top of a controversy card tells you how many controversy tokens you would earn, so be careful when you're getting close to 9. After 6 rounds of this game, whoever ends up with more points wins the entire thing. So now, let's get into our review so we can tell you how we feel about the game. For accessibility, we're going to give this game 5 out of 5 stars. This game was very simple to learn. From the moment we opened the box, it took us maybe 5 minutes of reading the rules to understand what was happening. And while I'm personally unaware if any elections outside of America work similarly, this game is still very easy to pick up and play regardless of what country you live in. So that's why we're giving this 5 stars. Now, while the accessibility is great, we do need to draw the line at replayability. We're going to give this game a replayability score of 2 out of 5 stars. Now, that is the lowest we've given to an individual category so far in this channel, so please let us explain. Now, our problem with this game is that there's so much repetition that it doesn't really feel fresh by the time you're done with the game. Because you're doing the same thing for 6 separate rounds, it feels like you're just playing the same thing over and over and over again. And while I'm not personally sure yet if that's just a problem with this game or card games in general, I still feel that it negatively impacts the game and how it plays. So as a result, I feel that the replayability is not really there and should get a 2 out of 5 overall. And in a similar vein, we are going to give the aesthetics a 2 out of 5 stars. A lot of people like this sort of minimalist design, but we personally don't. Plus, the cards themselves do feel a little bit cheap in the way that they were made and manufactured. And so as a result, we feel like it could have been done better. That's why we're giving it a 2 out of 5 in total. Now, on a more positive note, however, we are going to give the time of the game a 4 out of 5 stars. Like I did say, this game does feel a tad bit repetitive once you start to play it, but the entire game can be picked up, played, and put away in about 30 minutes. And so that is a very good length of time if you just want some time to kill, if you want to have some sort of starter game for a board game night, anything of the sort. And so we're big fans of the fact that it can be played and put away so quickly. And then finally, for cost, we're going to give Ballot Battle a 4 out of 5. Like I said previously, the cards do feel a tad bit cheap for our liking, but at just $15.99, this game is very affordable.
And so, after going through our 5 categories, we're going to give Ballot Battle a total of 17 out of 25 stars. This is a fun game that we enjoyed, but we don't really see ourselves playing it all that often. This is more of a game to just pick up and play if you've got time to kill. But, like I said, this is our personal opinion. And so if you have any other reviews, if you think it's worse than we reviewed, if you think it's better, please let us know in the comments. We would love to have that sort of discussion with you. 2 more notes before we end the video. Number 1, if you're American, please vote. I know that there are a lot of people who say that their voice doesn't matter, their vote doesn't matter. I promise you it does. Like I said at the beginning, this may be the closest presidential election we've had in a long time. So this is the time for you to vote, if at all. So please vote if you have not yet. The second thing I wanted to mention, on a more personal note, we have been doing a Vinyl of the Week. That's been a thing for all of our long-form content videos. So this week's vinyl is the Coraline soundtrack. Fun fact about myself and Alicia, we love Coraline. We've got the vinyl, we've got the t-shirts, we've got all this different merchandise. I'm looking at the Coraline book right now. And so, just a little fun fact about us. I've got nothing else to say. I still don't know how to end videos. This is our 3rd, so I will find a way to end it not awkwardly. So with that being said, I keep saying, with that being said, I will no longer say with that being said. Bye.